So we're sitting here this evening with Keith. Keith works as an energy consultant, works as a Reconnection healer, as well as a consultant up in Cold Lake. What is it you do at Cold Lake?
I do some utility consulting, try and help keep the lights on, and a little extra support for the utility system up in that area.
So you're able to kind of balance the two between both worlds, a little bit of the mainstream up in the oil field, and a little bit of the more alternative energy healing with the Reconnection work?
Yeah. Try and keep a little balance and stay in touch with both ends of industry and the healing holistic world, so it's nice.
And how do you find doing that, having the balance, working the two extremes?
It's getting to be a little bit of a juggling act. It's the in the box, out of the box thing, and but it's okay, and it helps to keep both perspectives, and keeps me in a different mix of people. So it's nice on the weekend to be around the healing crowd and the holistic people, and then transfer that information and energy to the rest of the world that haven't tapped into it yet. So our survival.
So what is Reconnection?
It's providing a channel for healing light and information to flow through, so it's not any type of technique or any practicing. It's just being present and allowing that energy to flow through us. I talk about relation to a guitar. A guitar that gets played for months on end and is not tuned sounds terrible, and our body goes through tragedies and heartbreak and poor environment, and we have no way of tuning it that we know of until now. And the alignment that this creates of our nervous system, it really creates quite a shift.
So how is it to be up there, to be a light in the darkness, to still be on your path, and yet working amongst the, in an area such as you do work?
It's not, the people always do the best they can with what they know. So there are a lot of good people, and we still need the resources to survive. It's just looking at it, making the best of what we do use, and using it wisely. And there are a lot of good things that are happening as far as reducing emissions. You don't see the flare stacks as much as used to. There's a lot of really positive moves to clean up environmental right-of-way use. All of this stuff is really good, actually.
Yeah.
So
through these profound experiences, the extreme pain and the arduous healing that you had to go through, were there any big lessons or anything that you learned or figured out?
Just to always connect with other people. That was something from last night. We did a little meditation where you, in your mind, write the word wellness on the blackboard, and then below it you write the word illness on the blackboard, and then you see that the difference between wellness and illness is we and I.
Wow. So if there's ways you can find a shortcut or advice to a shorter road to be able to help people avoid the trials and tribulations you went through, what advice would you offer?
When I come back, I wanted to be able to show people what it was like, to just eliminate that fear of death. And the reconnection is the closest thing I found. The state that session was the closest thing I found. The state that you enter in of atonement and relaxation is the closest thing I could find as an explanation to the crossing over and being at one with the Creator. And that's the state we need to be in to heal ourselves.
That experience when you actually crossed over, do you have much memory of it?
I do now. I didn't at the time. It
Yeah.
took quite a while to really see what happened, because when I come back, then I was drugged and lost a couple of years of time again. So it was a period of cleansing, and through meditation and things, then I was able to recall the experience and the blessing that it was, basically, to just see that it's nothing to fear.
Yeah.
It's part of life, and we still go on.
What can you describe from that experience?
Light.
Light?
Yeah, we just become light. I just came this evening from the orb presentation, and it's just that's what it is. There's no limits. Everything is. We're all one. We just return to that state, and it's very peaceful.
Yeah.
Until you reach the bottom, because I have lots of friends who've gone the addiction road with many different things, and until you slam that floor and fall through it in some cases, then you start gathering the pieces back up. I don't like to see people going through that, but those are some of the most tuned in people that...
So do you think on a macro level, as a culture, do you think that's what it's going to take? Do our whole society have to slam through the floor, and then we'll pick up the pieces?
I hope not. No, I'm seeing that there's enough that see that ripple, they see where that road's going. There's some really strong leaders in the spiritual community that have been there and that are going out and sharing their story, and they're turning people around on a dime. That basically just by sharing, that's the power of sharing a story. It's, here's what the choices I made, here's where I ended up. Try and do some reflection time and see where your choices are taking you, and yeah, it's that's what we talked about the other day, the power of telling your story.
Mm-hmm.
It's just words to me, but I don't know how it's going to affect other people, and that.
How do we go beyond just utilizing the 10%? How do we push ourselves? And what do you feel we're capable of if we were to go beyond?
We had a really good explanation, and it really fits with my power line background and my trade. They train us when there's a power line gets cut and it hits the ground.
Mm-hmm.
If the point of the wire goes into the ground, it creates a ripple, and
Mm-hmm.
there's a voltage level. You're not supposed to step from one voltage gradient to the other.
Yeah.
You do the jump thing. So tonight I talked about that center point is the focal point, and we are 7 rings out from that point, and we can tune into that center point. It's almost like being centered. That's why they call it stay tuned to your center, and that's really there's not a higher or a lower. There's not a old soul, new soul, good soul, bad soul. There's just that power. It comes with all of the martial arts, all of the things. When you see people blowing bricks apart, they tune into that power of their center, to the breath, and look at there's no limit. It's infinite power. So I think it scares us, is what happens.
Yeah.
We see what we're possible, what we have the ability to do. That's what I see the most. Is it scares us when we see how powerful we are, and we just need to get more comfortable with it.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Like that that infinite.
Jesus talked about the kingdom is near, and those, like, the kingdom is inside us. That's what the paradigm is that the last place we'll ever look is inside of us. And that was such a truth that it's just, we don't need to go searching, traveling all over the world looking for some peace. It's here. It's we have it already. It's just being still. That's one of the hardest things for people to be in, is silence, and to just be in one place